Hello everyone and welcome to Brain Fruits, the podcast on female solutions for business and society. I'm your host, Hannah Becker, and today I have the great pleasure to take you on a journey around the globe as I speak with women leaders that tackle some of the most pressing issues of our time. You can listen to Brain Fruits on all major streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And today I have the great pleasure to introduce you to Franziska Weissbach. Welcome, Franziska. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Hannah. Thanks for having me. I'm so happy to get the chance to share my mission and ambition. Thanks.
It's really great. Today we have the chance to talk about how to create societal change through financial well-being. Franziska works as a corporate entrepreneur with strategy and business development. She's also a human experience design strategist. Her entire professional career is dedicated to this triad of human, technology, and business. She's convinced that a consistent interaction of these three perspectives is the basis for the development and expansion of effective experiences, relationships, and platforms. I'm very happy to introduce you today to Franziska. She's our first design-minded entrepreneur. Franziska, financial well-being and human-centered design. Can you tell us a little bit how you got interested in this topic?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I think we best start with human experience design strategist. How does that started? So originally, I studied economics at Frankfurt Goethe University, and my focus was on strategy, on investment banking and banking itself. So you wouldn't think that I end up as a human experience design strategist. My plan was to work in investment banking. Accordingly, I did a trainee program at Dresdner Bank while studying. So you can imagine it's some days ago. By a crazy coincidence, I ended up working for a consultancy for just one summer, focusing on customer loyalty programs, all the data analytics and branding. We were part of the top 3 global advertising agency, that was Ogilvy, and I was right in the middle of this gold rush of the internet. And we did so much pioneering work in the mid and 90s. We developed new business models. So I decided to become a digital pioneer. And during that time, I learned how essential it is to bring together these perspectives of the people, the possibilities of technology, and the desires of business. So I did training on the job to become a strategist in human experience design. And the question on financial well-being, I would say that started almost 2 years ago. I was part of a global initiative by ING, and I stumbled over the figure of 94%. What is this 94%? So this is 42% of people in Europe who suffer from financial stress in a very acute way. So they won't meet month end. Another 44 have this from time to time financial stress, since they have no savings for unexpected expenses or retirement. And 8% have no regular income at all. So there's just 6% of people who would say, I feel okay, or I have at least somebody who's taking care of my financial topics. 94% being stressed. And when you know what it means being stressed, so the risk to suffer from a heart infarct or depressions or being sick because of really strong headaches, not being able to sleep at night. This is something where I think we cannot afford as a society. What we notice is that you guys in the Nordics are a bit better. Remarkably, a good academic education or a high income does not protect against any financial stress.
To set the scene here a little bit before we dive deeper into why we really need to talk about financial well-being, let me provide you with some context here. Our economies are in really precarious situations. We know that yield chasing has left us facing potential market illiquidity. The Fed and the European Central Bank have already cut rates to zero. Addressing the situation will require further global action and public-private coordination. Banks around the globe will play a critical role, be somewhat of a systematic stabilizer. On a microeconomic level, we know that with the COVID-19 pandemic, job security remains not secure at all. It looks like we face a period of long-term financial stress. What is the problem here that financial well-being is really addressing?
So first of all, thank you for collecting all the data. It's really not something that we could ignore as a society, and we need to act. You would think that the financial industry should serve, or you would think that all the growing neobanks should serve anything. But if you have a look what they really offer, you can see that there is just the standard products, like you could get a loan, or there's the lovely banking apps and some features, but it's like a closed user group for all the people who have a good relationship with their money, who enjoy having checking their account. For all the others, for them, it's a bit like, no, thank you.
We know that financial concerns directly impact things like mental health, physical health, productivity levels, and even social engagement. According to research from Ernst & Young, they found that 30% of employees say that they think about personal finances while being at their job. This concern negatively impacts performance at work. When we talk about social engagement, we can see that financial well-being also impacts people's ability to engage effectively with the society around them.
Why not looking for some proper financial well-being services? So it's not that we have sick people who can't afford anything. No, it's people who have not a good relationship with their money. And there's one basic formula I always use. You would be financially healthy if you would save 10 cents per euro spent to your own personal financial future. That would mean on a total, on a European level per year, that's more than 4 billion euros of potential that we could get and grow.
I love that you give this very intuitive example of like, okay, 10 cents for every euro. That seems not a lot, right? This is what we would have to save up. What do you think, Franziska? What is the role of financial institutions when we talk about financial well-being?
For me, is say goodbye to one size fits all in the mass market, and start thinking from the user perspective, from the human perspective. Become a bit more mindset specific, life context specific, understand what people really struggle with. Is it something very acute in this moment, or is it something where we need to build up? Find a way to mingle with people around, create trust, get recommended by others, become part of the network, and then help them, empower them. So to me, I think this is what financial institutions should learn, even with their existing customer base, to help them create something bigger and better, to really overcome these financial struggles, because 94% on average in the European Union, there is a lot of bank customers in it that have a need, that currently try to fix it when they're sleepless at night with anything that they could find on a bank website, but that does not serve them properly. So I think banks have the potential. I think, and this is what we are doing with the Fine Universe, is that we want to co-create and grow an open ecosystem of fine services that empower people to really substantially increase their financial well-being. And I think the financial industry needs to open up to other players, so that we have several entry points, that we increase value chain, cross different players to serve all the various needs that are out there.
So this comes at a time when banking customers are switching providers more than ever. Franziska, how do you turn financial well-being into a banking business model?
So there's one strong belief to me. This is what I've seen again and again and again. The moment you create a service, a digital self-service, a huge product, whatever, which focuses on a real life problem in humans' life, This service, ideally co-created with these people, will create a huge impact because it becomes relevant to people's life. And the moment something is relevant, people tend to spend money because it adds value to their life. And at the same time, that creates impact, business impact and growth to the banks. So it's a win-win. It's two sides of the same thing. But if we just start like, what could we offer based on the existing thinking from what we have and bundle it in a bit different way, yes, for sure, it can become more relevant to people. But for sure, focusing on real human needs creates real impact also to the business. So this is the magic formula behind. The other thing that currently helps a lot in selling the idea of financial well-being to financial institutes is that sustainability became one of the most popular and important topics within the industry. Only climate and carbon reduction, but the sustainability development goals, which the United Nations decided on in 2015, list a total of 17 different goals for a healthy society and a healthy planet. And there is at least 6 different targets or goals that directly have this aspect of financial well-being. So we say no poverty, no hunger, it's health, it's well-being, it's education, it's gender equality, it's less inequalities all over the society. So this is all something where the key for success is financial well-being. And to me, that means people having a good relationship, a healthy relationship with money, having it under control so that they feel in control. And it doesn't mean I wouldn't always come. So this discussions I have with my colleagues, it's like, so they have the nest egg for this. They have the savings for retirement. They have this. So this is all this technically numbers. I would just say it must be this feeling of fine. I feel fine. I feel ready to live my life to the fullest. So this is financial well-being to me. Yeah. It is about, I have a good relationship. I do not get this ugly feeling looking at the numbers in my banking app, like, ooh, shame on me. No, it's like, I have it under control. I feel in balance and I can live my dreams, run for my challenges, enjoy my life. That's what I'm aiming for.
That's a really great lead over, I think, to a few examples about how financial well-being can be incorporated in banking business models. There's startup provides people that want to save more with just a very simple picture of when they are older, 20 years plus. And then they asked a simple question: what would you wish for that person, which is going to be you at that stage of your life, right? Because we always have this bias, like we overvalue the present moment as human beings. We really think about, okay, right now, I don't feel like maybe saying no to a coffee or maybe saying no to a dinner, because right now it's really important to me and I'm really hungry and I really want to go to my friends. However, if I think about my future self in 20 years, maybe going for a smaller dinner and saving 30%, 20% of the money that I would have usually spent on my dinner, just putting it aside into my bank account, because then that future person will have a much better life and can continue going to nice restaurants. This is how I really love to think about like my financial future self. It's like, what do I want for my 40, my 50, my 60-year-olds? This is really different thinking. Some other examples of business models that put financial well-being at the core.
There is already a very nice offer in Germany. It's called Forget Finance. This is from the guys who came from the fitness industry. They had one of the strongest fitness apps. One guy worked with them, and they start something to train your financial fitness. So they use the same habits. The other thing, what I really like is they were in the press the last 2 weeks because they got a 5 million euro funding. It's Wave. This is the financial body for the Gen Z. And what they use is they totally dive into the lifestyle and mindset of the 20 plus in this surfer thinking. So everything is on the wave. They do co-creation sessions. They approach you with content snippets that are so easy digestible. There's no barrier. It feels like, whoa. And we have a lot of, I think, cool stuff with the Alice app and also Pace Up Invest. So this is on female financial empowerment. That was my first proof point for, wow, that's a financial well-being service. So out of everything that was there 2 years ago, that's 2 houses. That's a family dad from France. He got divorced and he saw how ugly it becomes for your financial situation, not because you have to pay for the children, but because you stop talking with each other. And he came up with a very simple setup, like a family calendar. There was like the shopping list for the children, just to keep an overview who's buying what, where to stay when. And at the end, you could also add just a financial account behind it. Like a daily account for the children. And that to me is just, it picks a strong problem. It solves it super easily. It's a subscription model. You can just start it. If you don't like it, it was not that much effort to change it, but people stick to it until the children are 80. And I think, yeah, we can come up with tons of these ideas as long as they are empathetic, common sense, and really solve real human problems.
What is your problem-solving toolkit? What approaches do you use to design financial well-being models for the industry?
My super problem-solving toolkit is the human perspective. I do a lot of observations. I do a lot of research talks, not the typical ones like a group session or doing this questionnaires where we normally just speak to system, super left-brained rational. No, it's more this spontaneous, this fast thinking that brings us to the first steps that we need to really engage people to activate them. Testing, co-creating, talking with the right people about my hypothesis, or I use paper prototypes, just showing them very basic, where they can start to think about it. Because for some people, getting new services that haven't been out there so far, for them, it's so hard to get an understanding, to imagine what it could be about. But the funny thing is you just use the little paper prototype, add a button, add a keyword, and this is the flow. And then they sit there and tell you the whole story. So they create it for you. And I love these moments. For me, they are magic. Another problem-solving toolkit, what I always use is it's not enough to have a good idea and to have something that's already pre-approved by the people you want to go for. You need to convince your team. If it's me just speaking, telling them that this would be the correct way, that's not convincing. I always use the original voiceovers from the people and show it to them. So the people, I'm the transmitter or of the people's voice to the organization. The ability to combine different sources of data to really find the super nuggets.
That is so interesting and really counterintuitive from what we would kind of expect. Like when we talk about problem-solving toolkit, we all think about, some of it sounds a lot like design thinking, some of the empathizing process that you can go through. But other than that, to rely on our human-given intuition, to rely on our listening skills is quite something that you would probably not expect from someone working in finance. Getting a bit more personal, what are some of the challenges that you encounter working as a female human design strategist in the financial ecosystem?
That's a good question. And I'm not sure if this is a typical female problem. I would say I'm a very creative, but also structured and super logical person. And I question existing structures the moment I see that there is a possibility for optimization, especially when it comes to having a greater positive impact on people's life. What I experience while asking questions, stepping into these, I experience a lot of, holding on. It's a lot of deflection, not taking it seriously. This, interesting. where you see like, oh yeah, the second sentence is, but please go away. That's crazy stuff. And what I've learned is this is maybe due to the factor that many people draw their security from keeping what they know, and they are always skeptical about anything new. So I take these, moment, interesting, yes, but please, Franziska, I just take it, keep it, and try to understand if something went wrong in my thinking, if I'm still, then I just look for smaller steps. So I don't expect this same huge, courageous movements. Our society, our economy is at a point where we need to come up with totally new thinking and business models. So we need to start an evolution. And therefore we need these brains, these empathetic thinkers that show the way.
It can be very difficult if you don't have this community of people that do think a little bit alike. So it is really good to have that, at least outside of work. Having heard about your exciting story and your mission to create financial well-being through human-centered design, what would be the recommendation, the brain foods that you would like to pass on to our community of listeners to make better decisions for their own financial well-being?
I love that question. Good one. So I would say I have 4 key learnings that help me, because you can't just talk and work on financial well-being without just changing something yourself. And honestly, I did a very interesting 5-month program. It's called Conscious You and Conscious Money, CU Money. I've learned face the beast. Start checking your account every day and create new relationships with money. The other thing is, it's just money. It's up to you how you define the value. So there's a lot out of your family, history, society, what value money gets. And therefore, it's really, number 3, important to reflect and rewrite your personal money beliefs. And the number 4 is break personal taboos and ask for help. It's not the end of everything to come up and say, I have a fear, I feel stressed, I can't sleep at night, could you please help me? And that doesn't mean borrow money. No, it's something about, maybe you have an idea how I can start to grow some money, to save money, to invest money. So it's about break rules, break taboos, ask for help, start small, then you'll learn fast, you'll get fun, and you'll create new money habits.
Thank you so much for being part of the Brain Foods podcast. It was an absolute pleasure to have you, Franziska, and I'm sure that we will have some podcast guests here reaching out to you afterwards.
Yes, everybody, more than welcome to directly connect me on LinkedIn. And Hannah, thanks a million for Brain Foods and the invite to join you at this podcast. You're doing such a great work. Keep on rocking. It's great. Thank you.